Hey guys, welcome to MVP Coach's Corner, where Bro Logic goes to die, covering nutrition, contest prep, PEDs, coaching, and living the lifestyle of bodybuilding. If you're just watching this video now, make sure you please like and subscribe, and turn on your notifications for our next video.
Well, guys, I'm super excited to have you on the podcast. I think this is going to be super fun. We're going to talk about some stuff with prep and all other fun things and experiences. So we have Victoria and Adelaide, both MVP clients and competitors. So yeah, give us a little intro, guys. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself. It's like class all over again.
Fun. I was gonna say I'm getting throwbacks to the
right.
First day of school.
Tell me a fun fact.
Okay, let's see. My name is Victoria. I'm 21. I live in Massachusetts. I will be competing in my first wellness competitions this upcoming summer. And my fun fact is that I'll say my shoulders, because I don't think it's my entire arm, but my shoulders are very, very double jointed.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
It's probably not good to a certain extent, but they're very overly extendable. I used to
you do the whole.
Mhm.
That was one of the first things that Victoria showed me when we
I was gonna ask you if you could do it.
we had our muffins together, and Victoria goes, "Look what I can do!"
Oh my God, with the pipe. Yeah, I held it. So I don't know if I could be able to do it now, but when I was younger, I used to be able to put my arms behind my back and lift them up and over my head with my hands connected. Now, I would say maybe we're definitely running the risk of probably something shifting, but it's hypermobile, so it'll just go back in. But with the pipe that she's talking about, we have like these white pipes. I'm sure they're just whatever.
Yeah, the PVC pipes.
And I could probably get like this close, and it's like up and over.
Dude. I would have you do it, but I don't want you to hurt yourself, especially on the podcast.
I know, imagine my
no.
You're like, so we need to start over. Okay. I also don't even think I have anything
today.
Just going Sakib.
Yeah, right. Calling Sakib right after this.
SOS.
Real quick, we have a question.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a little fun fact, I guess.
I love that.
Okay, my turn. I'm Adelaide. I am also 21 years old. I'm a bikini competitor. My show is going to be June 24th, so 32 days from now. Really counting down. And my fun fact, I live in Boston half the time, and the other half of the time I live in middle of nowhere, Michigan. My fun fact is I don't know. I grew up in the UK. I grew up in the UK. I guess that's one. I used to work professionally as an actor and dancer.
Oh yeah, that is a good one.
There's that one.
There you go. You haven't looked.
I really don't know. I guess
I don't know about that one. And you
that one. Yeah, no. That was my job for a long time. No longer. Well, sometimes no longer.
That's so cool.
I don't know. Between. Yeah, that's me.
Wait, so how did you guys hear of MVP? I know I didn't put this in, but like, how did you hear of Mark? Because I don't think I've ever asked you guys.
Oh yeah. So I heard about Mark and Coleman from one of their previous clients, Ava. Ava and I have been friends since I want to say early January of 2022, probably honestly like November 2021. We both come from a really similar background with dance and disordered eating, and it was something that we just connected over on social media, as you do. And when I was starting to look into competing, I was doing a little search of some of the people that I had seen compete, and I was looking at their coaching teams and sort of trying to reach out to the people who had been competing and to the competitors and asking, like, what did your programming look like? How was communication, and asking that sort of stuff. And by far, I heard the most amazing things about working with Mark and Coleman. And that was, I mean, like, that was really it for me. Especially knowing, I know that Ava didn't have the best experience with her coach that she had before she started working with Mark and Coleman, and having been there and hearing her and seeing her go through that, and then seeing her turn her prep around so quickly and just have such a drastically different experience, to like turning something that was so negative into something that was so positive for her, was just something that I was like, this is someone that I know that I align with a lot, and these are people that these are people that Ava really trusted. And so that was how I found Mark and Coleman. And I think that I talked to Mark, and I like went into our phone call, and Mark was like, cool, tell me about yourself. And I was like, I want to win. And he was like, okay, let's do it. And that was the first person that I'd talked to who had been like, yeah, let's win. Not, well, it was, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. That's cool.
Funny enough, I also had like a similar experience with Ava. She was the whole reason that I found Mark and Coleman. So kind of like how Adelaide touched on, she started her prep with whoever her coaches were before. Mark and Coleman took over her prep, and I had been watching her prep since the beginning. We've become a lot more friendly as of recently, but back when she was doing her prep last year, I was just watching her prep from the beginning. I saw when they took over, and they, like she said, they just did such a great job, especially with the time that they had, with such limited time too, to kind of make the necessary adjustments so that she could be stage ready in, I think it was maybe 8 weeks. I don't really remember how much time, but I know that she had like very little time to kind of get everything in gear. Yeah, like no time at all. And they just did such a great job. And at one point or another last year, I knew that I wanted to get into bodybuilding. I don't really know why. It was always something that fascinated me. And I was like, this is something that I could do. And if I'm being completely honest, I didn't really look elsewhere. I saw her prep. I saw how she did. I was like, they seem like fantastic coaches. I looked on their pages.
And you're like, this is it.
Yeah, everything just kind of lined up for me. I met with them. Like, I filled out the form. Coleman reached out. He was like, we would love to set up a time to talk. And then I think just getting on the Zoom call alone and just kind of feeling the vibes within the first few minutes, I was like, this is it. I don't talk to anyone else. I haven't looked elsewhere. I don't need to. This is just kind of, I know that this is the path that I got to go down.
Yeah. And I love that. It's so awesome. Oh my gosh. And I saw your friend, the wellness guy. I can't remember his name.
Yes, Carlos.
I saw him in person the other day. He's so awesome. He's like, I love Vicky. And we were talking about you for a little bit.
He loves you. We've been talking about you before. He's like, she's so nice. Like, she's so sweet. I was like,
we say the same things about you. We talk about you all the time.
Oh my God. He was so funny. He's like, oh yeah, because he was at New York Pro with Danielle. I don't know if you've met Danielle, but
yeah, I met two of his people. His one figure person, and then the wellness.
So yes, Danielle was the figure girl.
Yeah.
Edna, yeah, she's also so awesome. Like, they're some of the few people at the gym that I'm like, I know you're not in and out of my life. Like, you're a constant.
Right.
Just so nice. But then the second woman that you would have met, you said wellness, so that would have been Edna. Carlos was just helping out backstage because I don't think that her coach was able to make it, but they're also very good friends.
Yeah, they seemed very close. Yeah, that was fun. She's like, I got snacks for us. Like going to all the tables. It was so funny.
I love my time as backstage mom. I love
Dude, I can't wait. I can't wait for that. It's gonna be so awesome. Okay, back on topic. So whoever wants to go first, but tell me a little bit of what you guys are studying in school, because both of you, I know, it's now summer. But what are you guys going to school for?
Thank goodness.
I know we talked about this a little bit.
Go ahead.
So I just wrapped up my junior year. My water bottle's like falling over, excuse that. I just wrapped up my junior year. My grades are getting finalized now, and I think it's Tuesday, so they'll be done by Friday. I am studying exercise science at UMass Boston.
Yay. We love XI. We love and hate.
Yeah, the more that I'm going through the classes, it's definitely gotten better just because there are smaller classes and it's more than just a massive lecture hall with a professor who most likely doesn't know your name. Like the past 2 semesters, especially, it's gotten a lot more intimate and the professors know you by name. They actually want you to succeed and genuinely reach out if you're having any sort of trouble. And it's not just like okay, I just got to get through this. It's like, oh, I'm actually very invested in these classes and they're very cool. They can teach me things that I didn't know. They can extend on the stuff that I already do know. So we're definitely past the worst part of it.
Yeah, for sure. That's good.
Yeah, so I'm in a very different situation. I am currently at Emerson College, which is like a 3,200 undergrad liberal arts college in Boston, Massachusetts, getting my BFA in theater and performance with a concentration in acting. And I'm part of the honors program with a thesis focus on law. Yeah, I have one more semester left. I graduate in December. Couldn't be more excited. I wish I was an exercise science major.
You might have to switch, but don't.
Actually, we don't offer exercise science.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, well, so Emerson is very liberal arts. I would say that like our most intense science class is the honors science class that talks about human evolution and anthropological ethics. But other than that, we're not very sciencey. Like our math class is like quantitative reasoning through games is like one of our math class offerings. If that gives any perspective whatsoever, we're really big into the liberal arts. We're the #1 school in the US for journalism. And we're in the top 20 for acting. Yeah, the closest thing to exercise science would be our sports communications program, but that is not for me.
Well, you still do stuff with
oh yeah,
people
no, I still am, I'm like I'm actively taking like personal training certification and nutrition certification courses, and I educate myself on kinesiology through different courses offered through community colleges. So that's something that I still do. And then after I graduate, I'm going to go to law school in like 2 years, probably, maybe 1 year. We're going to see. Depends on when I feel like taking the LSAT.
Yeah.
So depends on when I feel like it. But yeah, no, I mean, it's fun. I'm ready to go. Just writing my thesis now, and then I am out, and I'm so excited to be out. Not because I didn't love it. I loved it, but now it's
it's too close to the end where you're like, please, I'm just done.
Yeah, the time has come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how was prep or starting prep in college? Was that like super difficult, or do you feel like it kind of helped you time manage?
So I feel like there's 2 different parts to prep in college, at least for me. So I'm an on-campus student, or I was an on-campus student. I'm not anymore. But when I started my prep and when I started working with Mark and Coleman, I was on campus. And the biggest challenge for me with that was obviously nutrition. The dining hall is kind of the worst. It is really not great because everything is cooked in, you don't know how much oil. There would be a lot of days that before I was cooking for myself from home, I would go to get a chicken breast and I would like cut into it and it wouldn't be cooked all the way through. No shade.
I feel like all colleges are like that.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like sometimes the food would be great and like there was a full salad bar. So yes, I could always get my greens. They always had cooked pasta. They always had plain rice, but there's just a degree of control on prep, especially with your nutrition, that it matters if they put butter into the rice that they're cooking. It matters if they use oil to cook the chicken. It, like, all of that factors in. So the biggest challenge that I ended up having as a college student on prep on campus was access to a kitchen. I cannot count the amount of times that I've complained to you about that alone. Just because my kitchen on campus was also very broken. Out of the 8 burners and the 1 oven, the oven was a fire hazard and would spark anything you put in it. And there were 2 functioning burners. And yeah, so that was difficult. From the exercise standpoint, I would have been going to the gym 4 to 5 times a week anyway. The biggest difference that it made for me was cardio. Cardio is very time consuming on prep once you get a little bit deeper in. So for me, it was really important to plan my days out in advance. Not that I'm already not a planner. I have like 3 planners on my desk right now. Really being diligent about being conscientious of, okay, cool, I want to make sure that I am prioritizing setting this time aside and knowing when I was going to eat my meals in order to have that line up properly with when I was going to go to the gym, and making sure that I had a class on Mondays and Wednesdays that went from 4 p.m. until 7 p.m. I would be eating my pre-workout meal at 6:15 p.m. before going straight to the gym at 7 for it to close at 9, and just being really conscious of rest time. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it gave me a lot of structure. I never knew what I wasn't going to be doing. I always knew what I was going to be doing at night. Just nutrition on campus in general, I could rant about it for forever, but college campuses don't tend to encourage the best nutritional habits, especially in the US.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone has had that experience.
Oh yeah. I feel like it's gotten better since like I've been there, in some ways, but like it's college food. We all know, like it's not the best. And I was lucky enough to like live off campus my sophomore year to my senior year, so like I didn't have to like go back to the dining hall really.
Yeah.
Unless I was going with like my teammates, but
yeah.
How about you, Victoria? Because you still started while you were at school, right?
My actual prep, yes. So that started for me back in April, so I was still in my semester.
Right.
I would say it wasn't the worst thing in the world. Kind of like Adelaide touched upon, I'm a very organized person, and time management is something that I take very seriously. So, especially with only being on campus twice a week, I feel like it was a little bit easier. I structured my days so that I was only on campus Tuesday and Thursday. So I did have longer days on those 2 days, but I wasn't having to drive into Boston every single day, which was really nice because the commute is ridiculous to go 10 miles down the road, essentially. From a nutrition standpoint, I feel like being a commuter, it was a lot easier than living on campus. Like, I could make my breakfast at home. I could package all my meals at home. I could bring stuff with me. Like, that was never really a concern for me. It was just a matter of putting things in containers and then bringing it to go.
Right.
I would say, kind of like how she said, like, one of the bigger things to really be conscious about was cardio, just because it can get very time consuming the farther you get into prep. In the beginning of my prep, I didn't have, or I don't remember when they actually implemented fasted cardio, but that eventually got put into my plan. And I was like, okay, on class days, I'm already waking up at 5:30 in the morning so that I can get up, get ready, make my breakfast, leave my house by 6:30. So I was like, if you not want, that's the wrong word, but I was like, you have fasted cardio. So I was like, you got to get up early. So it was really just a matter of instead of waking up at 5:30, maybe I was waking up at 4:30 so that I could get up, go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, get ready, get all my belongings together, like my backpack, my gym bag, my bag that I would hold my lunch in, so that I was at the gym by 5. I could do my walk, take a quick shower, get dressed and get ready there, and then go to school.
Yeah. And that was only 2 days that you were doing that?
Yeah. So
Okay.
that was only Tuesday, Thursday during the semester. I work other days during the week, so
Yeah.
it would be
Yeah.
a somewhat similar schedule if I had work earlier in the morning, but
Right.
the difference between that would be like my commute time would be a lot less. So where I work is not even a minute away from my house if I drive. So if I'm working at 8, let's say, I can do all that same stuff in the morning, but maybe I can come home and eat or something like that.
Yeah.
But at least for those 2 class days, I would be up a little bit earlier doing
Yeah.
my stuff. I'd have a meal with me.
Yeah. No,
That's
I think literally it's pretty much the same thing that we do anyways, like before prep. Like we have
Yes.
the same schedule. Literally the only difference is like less food. You have fasted cardio in the morning, and like us as girls, like we were just talking about this the other night. Like we have like 5 planners, 2 calendars. We're writing everything down, and the guys are just like, oh, like
Just
yeah,
go with the flow.
yeah, like I
Yeah,
got that.
no,
Okay.
I think I literally posted something on my story that was like, I am not a chill gal. I am not nonchalant. I
You
am
said you're
very chalant. I am the most chalant. I
Yeah.
use Apple Calendar, Google Calendar. I've got like 2 different planners.
Exactly.
Like
It
I
has to be done.
well, no,
Yeah.
but especially because like I mean my work days, I don't know about you right now, Victoria, but my work days right now look like that. Getting up at 5:30 in the morning. My commute is like 35 minutes, but I like to plan for the worst.
Yes.
So I leave for work at 10. I know that I want like an hour to get ready and eat, so I have to be done at the gym at 9. I assume my lift is going to take about an hour and a half with my core work and my warm up, plus the 40 minutes of fasted cardio. So I'm like, cool. We're getting to the gym at 6:30, which means that I also am like the worst at waking up. So I'm setting my alarm for 5:30. And it's like that stacked morning.
Yep.
But it's honestly not that bad. I honestly think that like the thing that makes the biggest difference is honestly the ability to just put all of my food in Tupperware containers and in a bag the night before. And then
Yes.
I'll just like cook my eggs and my oats in the morning and I'll bring them with me. And it's really not the end of the world.
Right.
Like maybe some people think that's gross to eat cold eggs. I don't know.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. And it's like
honestly not
funny
even
because
that
so many people make excuses for doing these things.
It's not even that bad. Put some pink salt on it. Like
There you go. Yeah.
Hot sauce, like it's no big deal.
No
yeah,
judgment.
get yourself some Franks. You'll be fine. It's a lot of fun. It's
Well,
1 out of 6 meals. You'll be good.
Coleman's been making fun of me because I've been basically like I put my either it's like cream of rice or oats, and then I get 2 whole eggs and egg whites, and I mix that all together. I used to like blend it and then like take the time to make pancakes, but like at 9 o'clock at night when I get home from work and then I have to prep my food for the next day, I basically make it into, I call it a lazy loaf because I thought the dogs were barking. Because I literally throw it in the microwave for 2 minutes. All of that. It's so gross.
I know.
It's so gross. I'll admit that to everybody.
Oh.
It's like you're gonna
Everything
get
about
salmonella or something.
I probably will too then, because except for the eggs, like if I do cook my eggs separately, but I literally saw something on TikTok that was like, oh, if you mix oats, egg whites, protein powder. I don't have protein powder in my breakfast, but I was like, I'll take my own spin on this recipe.
Yeah. No, I used to make pancakes, or you can put it in the oven because then you don't have to watch it. You just put it in like a little. You can get a little tiny loaf sheet at probably like the grocery store, and put it at your oven at 420 for 20 minutes. and you're good to go.
So good. Like, I'm right there with you. If I get salmonella, fine, but it's so good.
Yeah. No, if you put it in the microwave, it's like, okay. But if you put it in the oven, it's a lot better. You have to blend it though.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I don't know how you do that. I like having my sweet and savory. I feel like I think I'm deeper in by like what, 3 weeks?
Yeah, you.
I like having my separate foods.
I
It
do
makes
the same
like
thing in
it's
prep.
more.
I separate everything
It's
because it
more.
looks like it's more.
Exactly. I looked at my breakfast this morning. I was like, that's a lot of egg whites. That right there, 150 grams. That's a lot of egg whites.
Yeah.
Dude, I get 150 grams right now too.
I also do.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
Dude, you can eat though. You can eat.
My food has stayed
It's
so
unreal.
I think it's gonna drop down tomorrow. So
She's like in not off season, before she started prep, she was like, I can't eat like this
I
food
couldn't.
is so terrible, like blah,
Literally,
blah. I'm like, dude, just wait.
Mark and Coleman threatening me on my they've given me 2 refeeds throughout prep. My first refeed day, I think I had 1,100 grams of rice. I was like, what? What?
I like
Like,
extreme happiness.
I was like, I would rather be in deep prep right now than eating 1,100 grams.
No, I could do rice all day. Like, I love
Dude.
food so much. Like,
That's how I am.
Well,
Like,
and
I
now
can
I'm
fucking
ready for it
eat.
to come
In my-
back. Now I'm ready. Now I'm just
My
like, give me back
off-season-
my gluten-free pasta. Like, put it all back on my plate. Give me
Be
back
careful what you wish for.
Hey, my growth season is gonna be so good.
Dude, those
We love
glutes
that,
are
though.
crazy.
So excited.
I'm excited for just the food aspect of it. Like, I still, honestly, like, I still have like a little less than 8 weeks to go. I would say I'm pretty good food-wise comparatively. Like, I know each person is like their own prep. No one's is going to be the same.
Oh yeah.
But I can't complain about the food. But the off-season food is gonna hit different.
Dude, it's gonna be crazy.
I'm excited to be able to have like pasta with red sauce and meatball. Yum. No, but I honestly cannot complain. I'll complain tomorrow if they drop it. Because I mean, even if they drop my food, the only days that are bad. Oh, this is a PSA for all the girlies. Your hormones on rest days with your rest day food on prep are going to be out of whack. Or at least they have been for me. And I know Victoria and we were talking about this the other day. Rest days are like the worst because of the food. It is just like, I know that like for myself, my last 2 rest days or 3 rest days, I've been working. And I've been at work and I work like a fairly long shift. And at like 4 p.m. on both days, I just like, I hit a wall and I was like, I don't exist. I don't feel myself in my body. And I'd be like, come on, Adelaide, pay attention, pay attention. You're like trying to bring your brain forward. And it just doesn't happen.
Because it's rabbit food status.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just try to keep myself as busy as possible so that I'm not focusing on how hungry I am.
Yep.
And drink a lot of sugar-free stuff.
Yep. That was me today. I slept in because I could a little bit, so I wasn't up at like 6 or 7. I woke up at like 8, and then I ran errands. I was like, this will occupy me for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
What you got to do.
Exactly.
Me texting Mark and Coleman last night, like having like genuinely being in a panic and being like, you guys, I feel like I messed up so bad because I didn't do my fasted cardio before I ate because I didn't do my cardio before I went to the ER. So does that have like an impact? They were like, no, it's just so that you split up your 80 minutes of cardio. I was like, oh, okay. So to clarify, I thought that I majorly effed up by not doing fasted cardio going to the ER.
You care so much, and I love that. And I love that.
I'm sure, like Brie, I'm sure you see all of the things that I send to Mark and Coleman. I'm just like, you guys.
I see most of it.
Yeah, me not being able to do 2-minute planks. Being like, I'm still doing 6 minutes. I'm trying.
Oh my gosh. Dude.
Down the hatch.
It's open. Good.
Is it trend?
Is it trend?
Her doctor.
No.
It's just Illusion City right now.
Her doctor was like, no, it's not trend.
She said the word steroid, and like my brain is just like focused. Like I was like mentally in my brain, I'd been watching all of these videos from Greg Doucette. I was like, Liver King, Christian Guzman, like steroid. I forgot that there are non-hormonal, not bodybuilding steroids that are used for medical purposes.
You have me in like tears right now.
I know.
You should have seen me yesterday. I was like, please don't give me liquid IV food.
Liquid IV.
Like, I was so concerned. She was like, it's a saline solution. I was like, oh, okay.
Like, great, thank you.
Yeah, like, great. Yeah, I actually need to text Mark and Coleman and see if they want my blood panels.
They probably do.
Yeah, they probably do. I got more ordered today when I went to the dermatologist or the allergist this morning. They want my thyroid blood panels.
So, what did you guys perceive prep to be like? Did you have any like thoughts going in like, oh, I'm gonna be miserable the whole time, or based off of like what you've seen other people's preps look like? Does anything come to mind?
At least for me, not that there haven't been hard days. Like I've definitely noticed trends of time where it's just like day after day after day. I'm like, this is probably the worst thing I could be doing right now. Other days, it's still sucky, but it's not as bad. Like the more I get into it, I'm like, okay, I know it sucks. I'm hungry. I'm like, that means it's working. Like, no ifs or buts. But going into prep, I honestly thought it was going to be a lot worse. Like, that's not to take away from how it's been. Like I said, there have been some days where I'm like, this is it. This is my final day.
Yeah.
But just kind of based on other things that I've seen, especially with people saying they're like, oh, your first prep is your worst prep. Just going into it, I was like, wow, this could be terrible.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's been what it is. I'm very happy with how it's gone. And like I said, sometimes on the stairs when I'm at minute 30 and I'm like playing mind tricks, I'm like, oh, we're almost done, Victoria. Like, don't worry about it.
Exactly.
But then after the fact, I'm like, that was easy. I give myself
it's like, oh, that wasn't that bad.
I'm like, you're being dramatic. It's okay.
Yeah.
But definitely went into it thinking, I was like, worst case scenario, I guess.
Yeah. The day I feel like starts off normally pretty good, and then by the end it's just like I am not functioning properly.
Yeah, they've been I mean, as any coach should be, they've been like, oh, how you feeling? Whatever. I'm definitely noticing more corpsey days and not. And if anything, above anything else, I've noticed more mental lagging. I feel like there's just no thoughts in my head some days, most days, honestly. And like I'll get to the gym to do my fasted and I'm like, should I have driven a car? Like, wow, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm here now though, so time to go.
I get that. No, I get that.
Yeah, I feel like I had a really similar experience of everyone being like, prep is the worst thing ever. And especially like coming from a background of having had disordered eating and coming from the dance community, a lot of what I was hearing from people around me who were in bodybuilding was, oh, you shouldn't do prep, like you shouldn't be bodybuilding, like you can't do this because like a lot of it was just this really negative talk of like, you aren't capable of having a healthy relationship with food. And what I think is so frustrating is that like, this is the healthiest my relationship with food has ever been. Like, I'm so grateful because I know that if I don't feel good and I tell Mark and Coleman that, they make sure that we find resolution. And if it's just like me being hungry, they're like, okay, well, you are deep in prep. So like that is normal. But like I remember, I think it was like 10 to 12 weeks ago, like when prep was just starting. And I mean, even like when I first started working with them, they had ground beef on my plan. I'm not a red meat gal. I have not been for like multiple years. We tried it for like 3 weeks and I was like consistently feeling sick going to bed after eating ground beef. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I can do this. And they were like, cool, let's change it. Let's do eggs. And it was just, it's the most painless and seamless thing. And what I really wish that people did when they were talking about prep is instead of having this dialogue about like, oh, how it sucks, you're going to be moody, you're going to be hormonal, you're going to be bitchy and exhausted and grumpy all the time. I'm like, okay. And maybe that was your experience, right? Like that might have been your experience. I have not really had any of those days. I mean, like I had 3 days in the last week. And I was texting you, both of you, about this, where I was like, I feel so discouraged and demotivated. And it really was that like 30 minutes on the stairs felt like it had been 50 or 60. And I was like, why am I even doing this? And I'd be like on the stairs, which is, I think, honestly, for me, the stairs is the hardest part. Because I'm like, I'm pushing myself and I'm trying to keep my heart rate at the right level. And I keep looking down at my watch or up at the heart rate monitor to see. And then I see the time. And then I'm like, man, I want to be done. And like, I think it was like this 2-day dip right when I first got fasted that I was like, I think I want to quit. I don't think I ever want to do this again. And then like, here I am like 4 days later and I'm like, yeah, no, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Like it's not the end of the world. And I think that probably also just does have to do with like exhaustion and tiredness and all that.
Yeah.
But I wish that the dialogue around going into prep wasn't so negative.
Yeah.
I feel like my conception was that it was going to be like the worst thing ever and that you're miserable the entire time. And like a lot of people told me like, oh, you aren't going to want to hang out with people. You're never going to want to see people. You're never going to go out and spend time with people. I went out like 2 times in the last week. Everyone's like, oh, going out with everyone is the worst. No, it's not. I went bar hopping with my friends and I was over here with like my Diet Coke, living my best life, or like with my soda water with a lime. And it's really not a big deal. And if you're going out bar hopping to drink, then maybe it is a big deal for you. I haven't had a drink in a very long time. My first legal drink is going to be if Mark and Coleman have me drink vodka before my show. That'll be my first legal drink. Which is iconic. But like, yeah, they're gonna get to deal with my drunk alter ego. They're gonna have the time of their lives.
Dude, that's gonna be hilarious.
Oh,
they said I was like,
I am a nightmare. But like it's not as bad as people make it seem. What it comes down to is I think that there's this challenge of people not weighing their priorities appropriately. And it comes down to it a lot. And like the one thing that Brie, you've always told me, food is always going to be there. Going out is always going to be there. Going out for drinks with friends, that's always going to be there. That's never going to be like taken away. And that's something that has been so incredibly helpful because you can go out and you can be like, man, I really want to try this food. That's super cool. This restaurant's going to be there in 6 weeks. It's still
a whole mindset thing. It's literally, that's what's gonna put you apart from somebody else and why it makes prep so much more difficult and tiring and makes people upset and makes them freak out is because it's their mindset on the whole entire process.
You can't think about all the things that you're like losing out on. You don't have to stop living your life just because you're on prep. Like that was something that a lot of my friends who were in bodybuilding told me going in. They were like, oh, you're not going to be able to work. You're not going to be able to go out and have fun. You're not going to be able to do all of these things. I'm like, I'm doing all those things. And it's so totally different too, because I saw how they were when they were in prep and they were miserable. And I'm like, you don't stop living life. You just make choices that are more constructive So like, would you rather have a margarita now and feel like shit tomorrow because you haven't drank in like 8 months and have that caloric thing and then feel guilty about it? Or would you rather just wait 5-6 weeks?
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
it's gonna be there when you get back
exactly.
with that trophy.
Yes. No, but it really is. I think it's the mindset that like beforehand, everyone that I was talking to, like going back to like what the conception was, I had this conception that like it's this horrible experience and that it's difficult to enjoy because you're so restricted and you're so limited on what you can do. And like, yeah, you know what? You're eating the same thing kind of every day or like every other day. You're doing that in off season.
Right.
It's the same
You're
thing.
doing
It's
that
just a
in
little bit
off
less.
season anyway. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, you're doing a specific workout. You were doing that anyway. You're not doing anything different. It's just a little bit changed because your goals are different. And to look at it as this whole new experience that's like, man, you're just going to feel awful and you're not going to have fun and you can't do all these things. It's like, no, maybe that's what it was for you, but it doesn't have to be that way. You can still go have fun with people. You can still go and do all these other things. You can still enjoy your life. You just also need to have your priorities in line. Get your boxes checked beforehand. If you want to go out at night, go to the gym earlier in the morning.
Right.
Right, exactly.
It's not complicated.
And like also with prep, like enjoy all of the moments, like even the sucky part. Because right now I like miss being in prep, and I'm like seeing everybody go through it, and I'm like I miss just like
You'll be there
having
soon.
that, and like this is freaking it. This is the date. Like we're going in, and like watching my body change, and like seeing the veins and seeing and all that fun stuff, and like just grinding it out and being like it's almost game day. Like I miss that. And so take like as you're getting closer, Adelaide and Victoria, like Adelaide, you're super close. Like
Crazy.
I know, right? Like it went so, and it goes so fast. It goes so fast.
It really has gone so fast because I remember when I was like 12 weeks out and I was like, man, this is gonna be the longest process
Yeah.
ever.
And I was like, just wait.
Yeah. I feel like every time I send a check-in, I'm like, oh, that's another week. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no, it's going by so fast. And I'm like, I don't even notice the changes. Like when they were like, no more leg day food, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's like a day-to-day basis. I'm like, you just tell me because
Right.
I know it's going to keep fluctuating as the days go on.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep rolling.
That's the other thing that people need to know about prep. You just do what you're told.
Yes.
Right.
So easy. Everything is
Exactly.
planned out for you. Everything is given to you. All you have to do is cook the food, eat the food, and go do the workout.
Right. It's like you have a secretary.
It is so nice. It is so nice because all of that mental workload is just totally gone. Like
That's literally what I've said from the beginning. Like it's people will ask all the time, they're like, oh, is it hard being on a meal plan? And I'm like, no. I'm like, they take all the thinking out of anything. I'm like, I just have to go in and execute day in and day out. They do all the heavy lifting. It's so easy when they set it up the way that they do. It is so easy to just be able to follow it with no question.
If I had to measure things and plan out my own food, I think I would go nuts.
I would go bananas.
Would not be me. I would not. I mean, like, here's the thing. I programmed for myself for like 2 years before working with Mark Coleman. I have never enjoyed like exercise, eating, any of that more. Never. Like the hardest choice I made during off season was what kind of pasta sauce do I want to have tonight?
And I love that.
That was the most difficult choice is what kind of seasoning.
Like it's great.
It's delightful.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't have to freak out about what food and then trying to plan it the night before. Like it just takes all the guessing away.
Right. Like there's already so much going into it. The last thing you need is to be racking your brain for like, oh, what do I want to make tomorrow? What do I want to make the next day? No.
Right.
Maybe to some people it will get old, but like I wake up every single day and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go do my fasted stuff and then I get to eat my breakfast and it's
and I get so excited.
It is, I look forward to it. I'm like, I sit down, I'm like, this is what I've been waiting for all
best thing. Yes.
Without
I
Like,
agree.
shame, I will say breakfast and dinner are my favorite meals because I have eggs, like whole eggs, and egg yolks taste so good. They're so good.
ever since you had your eggs, however, when we were cleaning out our closets the other day, I was like,
Oh
I need
yes.
eggs like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I make my 2 eggs. I do them over easy, and then I do my egg whites. I eat my egg whites with my 0 cal Walden Farms ketchup, or my
Love
free
it.
kinds in the worst case scenario, which
Yeah.
is still not bad because it's fits in with programming. And then I like cut up the full eggs, and then I get the egg with the egg yolk, and it's really good. And
Yep.
then I leave my plate clean.
Yeah, if you
Good.
don't lick the plate, you're not in prep.
If you do not, yeah, exactly. Well, also just because I don't think I'm ever going to go back to eating eggs any other way because I never noticed before egg yolks taste so buttery.
Yes.
They're so good. Like even when
Mhm.
I'm in my off season now, like when I get bagels back, you don't need butter for toast. Get an egg yolk. It's
Egg
so
yolk.
good.
I was gonna say, even in
So good.
I'll be looking.
Salmonella. We're all getting salmonella.
Not raw. Cook
If
it.
I haven't gotten it yet, then I think I'm
Cook
okay.
it. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. No, I love that. Well, sweet. That's all that we had for today.
Crazy.
I'm super excited for both of your shows, and I'm glad I will get to be at, well, Victoria, one of them, and Adelaide. I should be going to yours. I have to plan it. I need to get off work because I don't know. I need to figure out the whole traveling to Texas thing, but I should be there.
Yes. Well, I would love for you to be there. If you're not there, I'll FaceTime you. You
I
can
will
come
make it.
along.
We will make it happen.
We're gonna make it
Make it
happen.
work.
I'll call your managers.
I call my managers.
They're
Yeah,
off.
just give
I
them a
need
threat.
her. I need my emotional
No.
support 3.
And you need the like Darth Vader voice. Just say you like kidnapped me or something and like leave it at that.
Like she'll be back
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah, she'll return to work on Tuesday. Thank
Yeah,
you.
she'll return to work on Tuesday. I just need to borrow her temporarily.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I need to talk to Mark and Coleman about that because I need to figure out who of us is renting a vehicle.
Mark will probably do a Turo.
I don't know if I can.
I was
Mark
gonna
will
say,
probably
is
do
there
a
a certain
Turo.
age?
I don't
That-
remember.
It's
What-
different in like each state, but I think you can be. I know Florida was 21.
Florida's
I think
21.
you can do a Turo. So they like leave the car at the airport, and then you like they put the keys like somewhere, or we had this guy unlock it from his home on his phone, and like we
That's
could use
cool.
the car. Yeah.
Is it better pricing than just like
Then
car
Ubering.
rental?
Oh,
And
probably. Yeah.
Ubering in
Yeah.
Houston, Ubering in Houston is expensive.
Yeah.
I'd rather walk.
No
And then
way.
you'd have to wait so long for one to show up. It's just not.
No. That was the one thing that I was like, I need to budget to rent a car because there's 0 way I'm going to Uber around Houston
Yeah, no.
in peak
Have a
week.
better
I
chance
have
of
0
finding.
patience for that. Absolutely
Yeah.
not.
No.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Talk to you guys soon. Thank you for coming on the podcast. I appreciate you both.
Thanks for having us on the pod.
I'll put your Instagrams on the screen so
Oh,
everybody can search for you and follow along through the rest of your prep.
This is
But
so
thank you guys for coming on.
thank you,
And
Bree.
yeah, of course.
yeah.